Good evening, my friends. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while. If you are a bushcrafter, or a camper, or a do-it-yourselfer, you generally love tools. If you're a tool user or craftsman of any kind, you love tools. And if you love tools, pretty much you always love knives as well. So I've been meaning to talk about my knife history. Now, when I was 4 years old, I was playing in the backyard, and I was digging beside a stepping stone, and I found this. It's a little knife. It's got some kind of fake mother of pearl handle. It's a little steel knife. It's a little steel Bowie knife. I mean, you can see how tiny it is. Like I said, I was 4, and I was delighted to find this little knife. So I ran in and I showed it to my mom, and I said, "Look, Mom, a knife! I've got a knife! I found the knife!" And she said, "Oh, how nice!" and took it away from me, as mothers will when you're 4 years old and you found a knife. So anyway, when I was about 10 years old, 9 or 10, I found it in her sewing box. And I thought, that's my knife. And so I took it, and she caught me throwing it into the wooden garage door, which it did nicely. And she took it away from me again. So I was home from college once, and she asked me to go get something out of her desk drawer, and I said, she said, "Oh, there it is right there." And next to whatever it was she wanted me to get was this. And I snagged it up and I said, "That's my knife." And she said, "Well, of course it is, take it." I was almost surprised. That is my first knife. Right there. Found it by a paving stone in the dirt in the backyard. It just stays in my jewelry box. So there it is, my first knife. Now, I had a few other knives going through my childhood. I had one that I was particularly fond of that was just this stainless steel knife with a kind of a double stamped striped silver and black handle that went in a little sheath. I'm not sure how big it was. Maybe about that long. And I got it probably when I was 10, 11, something like that. And got it at the drugstore for $2. $1 maybe, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And that my cousin Royce and I pretty much wore out. But when I was 10, my dad, we were stationed in France when I was 10. And Dad was flying into New Delhi a good bit. And there are a lot of brass shops there. And the little boy who did my dad's laundry when he was in New Delhi, when he had to fly into there, made this for my dad. And Dad ultimately gave it to me because I was so fascinated by it. The little boy made it from scraps in his dad's shop. You can see it's not exactly the finest sort of workmanship, but it's, I always found it charming. And he gave it to my dad because he was very fond of my dad, and I think my dad probably always tipped him well. So that's where that one came from. This also lives in my jewelry box. It's never even been sharpened. But it's a neat knife. Now, for the last 30 years, this knife has always been in my pocket. It's a Craftsman. It's nice and flat. It's sturdy. It keeps a pretty good edge. And for some reason, no one's ever stolen it from me, and I've never lost it. I had a Puma that a friend gave me when I went off to graduate school that someone swiftly stole out of my desk drawer. And I dearly loved that one, but it didn't stay around long. This one I've been carrying in my pocket for 30 years. Since about 1985 or 86, I think. I've had this one. That's with me every day. Another one that's with me every day on my keychain, and you folks have seen this in my pocket gear before, is this little Gerber. Um, it's a zipper pull folding knife. It's not much more than a little box cutter, but it does have a fixed blade. I mean, not a fixed blade, but a locking blade, and it clips onto my key ring. And I sharpened it a little bit when I got it. It wasn't as sharp as a lot of, is what I used to expect when you got something from Gerber. And it's gotten a lot of bad reviews, but I've been carrying it around for a little over 2 years now, every day. And so far, it hasn't failed me, and I use it relatively often. Now, the other thing I carry every day, you know, you always need extra ways to, you know, can't have too many blades, is this little folding credit card blade. Cost not much at all. I think I paid a few dollars for it, but, you know, there it is. Oops. So I've always got that also in my wallet. It's very, very, very sharp. Don't know how long it'd keep that edge, but you know, if I ever needed something sharp, it's in my wallet. So those are the 3 knives I carry every day. And I've got another knife that I'm very fond of, but because it's a little bulky, and I'm not supposed to have knives at work, that I don't carry at work. This one's special, just because of how I got it. It's a sailing knife, obviously. It's got a locking marlin spike on it, and just a, what do you call it, a sheep's foot blade. It's a case. No, I'm sorry, it's a buck, and it was given to me by a very dear elderly friend of ours that had belonged to her husband, and I said, oh, one day I'm going to have a knife like that. She said, it's yours, take it. And so I cherish this one. It's the one normally, in the past, if I was around the house, have it, you know, clipped to my belt in my hip pocket. So that one is very special, but I don't get to use it as much as I used to. And it has, my friend's husband, deceased husband, had scratched his initials in the bolsters of both ends of this. So it's a very special knife. Now, I used to have a K-bar that had belonged to my dad. And I finally gave it to a nephew of mine who was very, very fond of my dad. And so I didn't have it anymore, but it was very similar to this one, which was a Navy Camillus that I got from my brother-in-law. Now this one came with your typical leather handle, just like the old K-bars did, but it had dried so badly that it had just shattered. So I had an old piece of walnut table leaf, and I cut a couple of pieces out of it, very carefully trimmed out the inside, sanded them very flat, trimmed them out so that they would sandwich the tang, and I divoted a few little extra, there of course are a couple of holes in the tang itself, but I put some divots in the wood also and epoxied it on. That was in 1981, and I never did get around to putting any pins in it. And this walnut handle, for all the chopping I've done of small saplings, brush, you name it, and it's extremely sharp. As I said, it's a Camillus. It's good steel. It holds a beautiful, beautiful razor edge. And I took the grip and I wrapped my fingers around it and drew around my fingers. And then I just took a round rasp and worked at it and sanded it and worked at it and sanded it and worked at it. And I don't know if you can tell how it's shaped here until it's, you know, perfectly conformed to my hand, which is really, really neat. I love this knife. This knife is awesome. I miss my K-bar that I gave away, but there it is. My nephew cherished it so much that I didn't feel terribly bad about it. But my nephew John and his wife Ann, some years ago for my birthday, gave me a new K-bar, and that is this one. It was a special edition. It's parkerized, and it's got a, I'm not sure exactly what the handle is, but it is indeed a K-bar. A lanyard hold in the hammer butt of it, and it is a delightful knife. You can also chop down saplings with this one. Let me tell you, they're good, sturdy, heavy knives. I've never batoned with them. Probably never will. Usually for whatever chopping I want, they do great. So I love these knives, so I'm always torn about which one am I going to carry when I go camping. Love both of those. So those are two knives that have been with me for a long, long time. This one since probably the middle 70s. This one probably the late 80s. Maybe 1990. Been with me a while, but not nearly so long as the one that has been with me, oh, let's see, 59 years, this one? Long time I've had that one. Alright, and then the 30 on that. This one, I've only had probably about 10 years. Okay, so those are some of my knives, and then I started getting interested in bushcrafting. And of course, when I did, I started looking for a bushcraft knife. Now, I like my bargains, and I don't like to spend too much money, and I don't have any money to waste. So I looked and looked and looked, and of course, I came to the conclusion that everyone does, that I needed to try a Mora. So I ordered this Mora from Amazon. It was about $14. This is the companion, and I fell in love with this knife. And it's, like I said, it's just a plain companion. Yes, I have batoned with it. I've used it pretty hard. I did square up the back edge. It is the carbon steel. And I know a lot of people do a lot of different things to do patinas, but I've always got so many projects going that I hadn't gotten around to trying any kind of interesting patina on these. And yeah, they do get pretty icky if you're not right on top of them, keeping them oiled. So what I did was just one night grab some of this Birchwood KC Perma Blue, slapped some of that on, literally slapped it on there, and made a nice finish on that knife. I really like what it did on my little companion. Love this knife. Love the Scandinavian grind. It is so wonderful for whittling and feather sticks. It is just the knife that is usually hanging on my belt. And if I'm home, they won't let me do that at work. But love this companion. It is everything they say about it, coming razor sharp, everything they say about the companion. I don't need to say it again. Everybody knows these are awesome, awesome little knives, and unbelievably inexpensive. Like I said, I think I paid $13 or $14 for that. Okay, and I liked it so well, and I read so much good stuff about it that I ordered the companion heavy duty. Now you see, I have my little fire kits on them. And I also put people were worried that maybe, I've never had one of these fall out of the case, but I put a little Ranger band on it, and that keeps it, there's no chance that that's going to fall out. And I've never had one, as a matter of fact, sometimes a struggle to get them off your belt, so I've never had one do that either. Never had one fall off my belt, never had one fall out of its case. Alright, this is the heavy duty. It's also, you can see I have also blued it. It is also the carbon steel, squared up the back of it, and it's a good knife. Now I've got I know they're not full tang, but they are sturdy, and I've done quite a lot of batoning with this one. And because when I got them, I decided I really wanted to test the heck out of them. So I did. And they've held up to everything. Now, this is also Scandinavian grind, but it's thicker. And although it's still sharp as a razor, when it comes to whittling, I prefer the regular companion. Now, it's going on a paddling trip. And you know, it's really hard to stay dry on a paddling trip. So I decided that I wanted to try the stainless steel. After all, if I'm going to use flint and steel, I'm going to have the steel with me. For the ferro rods, I don't have to have the carbon steel. And the whole idea of kind of using my knife as the striker for my flint, and you know, not too terribly keen on that. So I decided I would get a Mora, because after all, that one was $14. I think this one I think was $13. I think that one was around $15 maybe. From Amazon. Again, we have Prime, so I didn't have to pay any shipping. So I decided I would get one in stainless. And this one, because I was going on that paddling trip, this one's the black one. And it's, once more, it's just a companion. This is the companion, Mora companion in stainless steel. And, yeah, howdy, it's sharp. It's also just the regular companion, Scandinavian grind, sharp as a razor. Guys, plug your ears. Ladies, I actually decided I would shave my legs with this one when I got it, and you know what? It did the job. Okay, guys, you can listen now. All right, so that's it. That's my black companion stainless steel. I got that one, and I got a blue one when we went on the paddling trip. And my little sister liked the blue one so much that I gifted it to her. So that had me down to only 3 Moras. So anyway, I decided that this one's the one that'll live in my car because it's stainless. So it's part of the kit that I made up out of the things that I got from Diane at Snowfog Outdoors, and Sunset Bay Bonnie sent me a lot of fire starting stuff too, and I put together a kit out of that, and also some stuff from my Cabot Bluegill, and that's the one, this black stainless one's one that stays in the car with that wonderful little kit that I put together. So I decided Mary Margaret needed one in her car. So I got another one, and this also is just a stainless steel companion. Again, same as the other. Awesome knife, cost $13 or $14, maybe less, maybe $12. Also have a little fire kit on it. It's stainless steel, so this one can stay in Mary Margaret's car where she never knows it's there, and she forgets it's there, and she has zero interest in it being there, other than she's touched that I make sure there's a knife in her car. But when we go off in her car, and suddenly I realize, oh look, some woods. There's a knife in her car, so that's good. So I did that. So those are my companions. 2 companions in stainless, a companion in carbon steel, and a companion heavy duty in carbon steel. I love my companions. So, Really Big Monkey also loves his Moras. And David said one of his favorite knives, however, is his Mora Bushcraft Black. Well, I had an opportunity not too long ago and finally got myself a Mora Bushcraft. This was the Bushcraft Orange, obviously. And it is, I actually went ahead and got it in the stainless. You can see it's kind of dirty because I use it. I use the heck out of these things. But it has the nice, sharp, square back already. There's no place on here that you can't strike a ferrocerium rod. It's a great knife. I think it's got as good a grip to it as the companions. I haven't done a research on it. I don't know. I don't think it's a full tang, but it to me looks like it's kind of it looks like it's as broad as the heavy duty, the companion heavy duty, but there it is. Love that knife, and I'm looking forward. This is the one I've not had long, and I'm really looking forward to going out and giving it a real harsh going over. And so it's the one that at this point is going to be on my pack with my, I've got just a Lansky kukri style 13-inch machete. So this is what is strapped to my machete case, which is strapped to my pack. So those are my knives, folks. Have there been others? Yes. Are there others? Yeah, here and there and everywhere. I've had all kinds of knives, but these are the ones that I love these. They're either ones that I carry every day, or they have huge sentimental value, or they're just awesome, awesome knives, or all of the above. So they're my knives, folks. I noticed that I don't have a real large amount of folding knives because I carry the same ones every day. I do have a really nice little Gerber that I got for my 7-year anniversary from one of my employers. It had a little gold emblem on it and a tiny sapphire in it, which I could not possibly care less. I care much more that it has a decent little rosewood scales on it, and it's a heck of a nice little Gerber folding knife. It stays in one of my fishing kits. But there it is. Those are my knives, and I hope you enjoyed it. I imagine that most of you already have Moras, but if you don't, please try them out. I think the green color is a little objectionable. The black is nice. The like military green is nice. The orange I like fine. The blue is a little bright. The pink, the magenta, whatever color it is, I just can't quite bring myself to that yet. Love to have a red one, but I haven't seen the red one I want yet. We'll wait and see what they come out with next. I know there are a couple of red ones out there. I just have to decide which one I want to get and branch out away from the companions to get it. So there it is. I think the video may have been just a little bit long, but we love our knives, so there it is. All right. Well, Sunday's here with me, having her little nap with her chin on the chair arm. But she did tell me that she really wanted to make sure I told her Uncle Jake that she wanted to say hi. So have a good night. Thank you for joining me here in East Tennessee. And I've been really busy lately. Haven't gotten nearly as many videos out as I would like to. I've got some that I really want to do. I want to do one on waterproofing. And I maybe might get that done tomorrow. I've got a lot to do this weekend, and tomorrow's Easter. So have a wonderful Easter. And I will try to get these uploaded tonight. And maybe I'll get the waterproofing video done tomorrow. We'll see. I have to get the ducks in their new pen. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. Come back anytime. And I am going to catch up on watching all the wonderful videos you people are putting out so fast I can't keep up with them. Maybe I'll watch a few tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. Bye-bye. So I figure that you probably thought my knife video was over. Well, I've been waiting for this package to come for about 15 years. Now, you know how I am about my bargains. Well, I did the previous section of my knife video a number of weeks ago. As a matter of fact, I did it Easter Eve. Now, about 15 years ago, I met a gentleman in my online metal group, art metal group, whose name is Michael Mara. He is Radharc Knives. He makes custom knives. He's particularly well known early on for his Skindoo, and I've always wanted one, never could afford one. So Michael and I, we've known each other, we've corresponded back and forth, we've met at art metal meets and what have you for many years. And heck of a guy, and a remarkable, remarkable artist, knife maker, jeweler, you name it. So finally I said, Michael, one day I'll be able to save enough money, maybe, to get one of your knives. And I had very specific in mind what I wanted from him. And so he finally texted me back and said, you know what? If you would like to make payments on it, that's okay. And I thought about it. I said, Michael, I couldn't afford but a small amount every month. He said, not a problem. It's a check on those coming in, not a problem. So I have spent a year and a half paying for this knife that I have wanted for 15 years. And it arrived today. So you are invited to my unboxing. It has not been opened. I found out, I got a text at work that it had arrived today. And needless to say, I was beside myself to get home. It's a miracle I got here in one piece. All right. So this is not only a knife, it is a dream, and it is a work of art. And really, not only is it a work of art, it's virtually a piece of jewelry. Brilliant, brilliant craftsmanship. All right. And he fought the incoming blizzard in Colorado in order to get this to the post office for me so that I can take it to my art metal meet, which starts tomorrow. I'll be leaving in the morning. I'm going to stop talking now because I got to look at this. Let's see what he says here. This is probably just the, let's see, just instructions on how to take care of the blade, the sheath, and the wood components. Put that aside. I've waited so long that it's almost like the Christmas you thought would never come. Now that it's here, I can't believe it. It is every bit as splendid as I thought it would be. You can't help but wonder how a person can take their two hands and handcraft something like this to order. He does his own jewelry work. He does his own, often does his own forging. He is also a blacksmith. And this is splendid. He does his own leather work. Unbelievably splendid. This is it. This is what I've waited for 15 years. I wish you could see how the how the light passes through the amber in this. It's splendid. Waited a long time. You want a paper towel? Oh, and it is sharp as a razor. It's beautiful. I'll bring you in just a little bit. If I drop it, I'll cut myself. Look at that. It's Damascus. German silver with a vulcanized spacer. And I didn't ask for all of these things. I asked for some of them. I asked for the particular shape. I asked for the Damascus. I asked for the amber and ivory. Now this ivory, lest you panic, this is mammoth ivory. I can't remember if it came from Canada or Alaska. but it is mammoth ivory, amber, snakewood, black-tailed deer, antler butt. And I wanted a garnet in the pommel. But Michael, I will not tie the hands of an artist. And Michael was so right. I wanted a garnet in the butt of this, in the pommel. And he said, let me put this fire agate in it instead. And he also cut and polished this fire agate. And it's perfect. Of course it's perfect. With the amber, how could it not be? This is so splendid. Michael, I have no words, Michael. I have no words for this. It fits perfectly in my hand. It is silky. It is satiny. It's perfect. Absolutely. Sorry. Cut it. Sorry. I'm kind of wallowing in knife here, so I kind of got it out of the frame, but I think you'll forgive me. As I said, I just couldn't quite finish my knife video knowing this one was on its way. That'll become an heirloom. Michael, the sheath is perfect and it's beautiful, and I love the way you've done it. If I were a little bit larger lady, I think sorry folks, I accidentally leaned on the remote. If I were a larger lady, I think I'd have another sheath made for it so that I could also wear it as a neck knife, because my gosh, this thing is beautiful. That way it'd be more visible. Might do it anyway. We'll see. Michael Mara, I thank you again. I thank you for finding a way to make this particular dream of mine come true. I'll cherish it for always, the way I cherish our friendship. Any of you out there, you people who are passionate about knives, do yourself a favor. Go out to Radharc Knives. Look at the work this man does. It is unbelievable. So finally, I'm going to finish my knife video. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And I am going to my nap-in tomorrow morning. And I'm going to upload this tonight, even though I started making it before Easter. I'm going to upload my knife video tonight. Get ready for my nap-in. Make sure my ponies have plenty of water. And I promise you, when I get back from my nap-in, I'm going to have a lot of video on different things. You know, I'm going to have camping video. I'm going to have napping video. I'm probably going to do some features on some of the nappers and knife makers and bow makers and things like that that will be there as well. So, as well as some of the rock suppliers. Eric Morris is an awesome person. Goes all over the country collecting rock for these nap-ins and comes up with some absolutely stunning stone. So I'll have a lot more videos for you. And then I have to tell you that starting on the 25th of March, I'm going to be out of town for several weeks for work. And that is going to be, that also is going to kind of truncate my video making, I think. We'll see. Maybe I'll find something to do while I'm out of town that I can make some videos and get them uploaded to you. So thank you again for joining me here in East Tennessee. I hope you have enjoyed this stunning beautiful work of art the way I have. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I really want you to see this closely. I'm going to close up before I let you go. And I don't know how well you can see it. But look at that. Look at the pattern in that Damascus. Sorry. The dog outside, that's Daisy barking. You can hear her. She's doing her good dog job and protecting our house and home. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I need to go pack, but I think I'll spend a little time with my knife first. Thank you all. And I'll try to get back to all of you soon. Good night.